This online pitching coach makes $31,000 a month coaching athletes all online. And in this video, I'm going to break down exactly how he's doing it. I'm going to expose his entire marketing strategy, who he's targeting, what his sales process looks like, and then also what his path to $100,000 a month looks like. If this is your first time here, my name is Nick Neville. I run an online consulting company called Just Coach, where we help sports coaches achieve time and financial freedom by implementing the online mentorship model so they can train more athletes, make more money, and live a life of way more freedom. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. I got some sauce for you guys. This is one of our clients, Justin. He actually just jumped into our scale program at the end of July, right after hitting his $30,000 month. I got on a call with him, and he was at like 28,000, and he's like, "Yeah, dude, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to hit 30K." And I was like, "Nah, dude, just close him on the call, like it's going to work." And boom, you can see right there, paid on July 31st, brought him over 30,000. So without further ado, let's jump right in. Okay, a little bit of background on Justin. He's a current pro pitcher. And more of like an undersized guy, right? He's 5'10", who learned how to throw hard, moves well, and he actually just landed a deal because of his social media to go play independent baseball next spring, which is pretty cool. He's actually in the middle of rehabbing from surgery. Okay, he was kind of a smaller recruit out of high school. He went to a Division II and ended up playing a little bit of pro baseball. He played some banana ball, and he was obsessive about mechanics. Okay, he studies movement for hours and hours and hours on end every single night. And it's important to note with Justin, he came into the program with an audience. So he had 10,000 followers on Instagram, 16,000 on YouTube, and 11,000 on TikTok. And he self-reported having made over 7,000 videos across all of his platforms before joining, which is absolutely mind-blowing to me. Shout out to Justin if you're watching this. But 7,000 videos across all platforms. Absolutely incredible, okay? And he was already doing a little bit of online coaching, but he only had 2 clients at $100 a month. Obviously, if you watch any of my content, you know that's way too cheap. Nobody's going to take him seriously charging $100 a month. And a funny story, actually, Justin came to us and sat on the fence for about 6 months trying to figure it out. And ended up coming back and ended up making back the entire investment with literally just a few weeks. So let's dive in. By the way, he went from 2 clients at $100 a month to making, I think he did like $12,000 his first month, $17,000 his second month in the program, and then $31,000 in his third month in the program. So obviously he went from $200 a month to $31,000 a month in in 3 months, which is insane. Okay, so his offer is he helps undersized pitchers throw harder. He calls himself, the short guy who throws hard, and sells to a younger version of himself. At this moment in time, he's been slowly increasing his prices, but he sells 3 months for $1,600 paid in full, or 6 months for $2,400 paid in full. He says about 70% of people take him up on the 6-month option. And he includes throwing, lifting, and mobility programming, along with the option for daily mechanical analysis via the app called OnForm. Plus, they have an app with like the schedule and data tracking and weekly check-in calls. He's super dialed in on helping his athletes. I want to give a shout out to Justin really quick for being so good at helping his athletes get results. Now, you've probably seen some of the videos that I've done like this where, I kind of walk through their team. Justin is doing this entirely on his own. Doesn't have a setter, doesn't have an editor, doesn't have a sales rep, doesn't have a coach, and you just saw those balloons go off. I'm going to leave that in the video. Why not? But Justin is doing all this himself, and his time now is the bottleneck, which is exactly why he joined our scale program. So you're probably pretty familiar with this funnel. If you're not, this is essentially the funnel that all of our most successful clients will run, okay, especially when it comes to organic. He's running viral content to get views from his ideal type of athlete, and then he's using trust-building content, which I'll give you examples of what this is here in a second. But he's using trust-building content to warm up those people and build a connection with them. And then he's using conversion-based content to get them into his inbox. And then he's messaging them on Instagram, booking a call with their parent, and then getting on the call on a Zoom call with them and their parent, and then obviously turning them into a paying client. Okay, so the real numbers. Okay, so he did $25,000 in his first 2 months. Obviously, $31K in July. Month over month collected, like I said earlier, $12K, I guess $16K, and then I have $22K there. It was $31K. Okay, and he signed up 56 new clients in his first 3 months, which is insane. Okay, which is absolutely insane. He's taking about 40 sales calls a month with a 70% show rate and a 45% close rate, which is pretty decent. And obviously, when he came into the program, he went from charging $100 a month to collecting $2,400 paid in fulls. He actually signed up a couple twins for a $3,600 paid in full for 6 months, which is pretty cool as well. So now let's get into the nitty gritty. Okay, let's get into the actual details of like what is Justin actually doing. Right now, I just showed you like, yeah, okay, this guy's making money, but what is he actually doing? Okay, number one, he's targeting undersized pitchers who need to throw harder to get noticed. I have seen multiple of my clients target undersized pitchers and do exceptionally well going after this demographic. So if you're watching this video and that's who you want to target, you're probably a little bit late to the party because we already got some dudes doing it. Okay, but targets undersized pitchers who need to throw harder to get noticed. The pain points are obviously they're overlooked because of their size and they're working hard without gaining velo. The dream outcome is they want to throw hard enough that size stops mattering. Okay, and the big shift in content form, which I'll get into here in a second when I talk about the importance of a niche, is before he jumped into the program, he was making broad baseball content that was relevant to everybody. It could have been relevant to hitters. It could have been relevant to anybody who likes college baseball, right? And then he started making content specific to one type of person, and that was the big shift for him, which we can kind of walk through right here. Okay, so as I wrote it right here, he had the big quote unquote fishnet open, but he had views but no buyers. And so when he jumped into the program, he spent his first 5 days in the program literally selling nothing, just defining who do I want to go after and who can I help best. And when he did that, that's when sales picked up. Okay, I want to comment on Justin, and I actually told him this on our onboarding call today. I was like, dude, you have an unbelievable ability to recognize patterns. Just with like the depth and how he thinks about these things, that's why he's been able to grow so fast. And I'm convicted that he's going to be able to do over $100,000 a month off the back of his Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Okay, he's posted up to 15 times a day, 7,000 total videos, and he treats content like reps in training. Like he's just trying to get more reps in, get more reps in, get more reps in, and he studies what works and then kills what doesn't. Okay, and he's adjusting quickly every single day. Now, he's not posting as much because he's got a lot of other stuff going on, but he's got such a good audience built up that he doesn't necessarily need to post 15 times a day anymore to grow his audience and make sales. Plus, he knows what works. Okay, so he'll do things like comment keywords, like comment velo if you want to learn how you can gain if you're an undersized pitcher that wants to gain velo, right? One video will sometimes get him up to 50 comments, which is 10 book calls, which if we have a 70% show rate, that's 7 people show from that, and then a 40% close rate, or a 45% close rate, that's 3 people closing from one video he's making. From one video he's making, he's closing 3 people. If you know anything about online coaching, you know how unbelievably impressive that is, okay? So it's also very important to note, we talk a lot about like repeating what works. Justin isn't just copying his winning video and reposting it over and over and over again. He's replicating the pattern that he's seeing, the framework in that video, and then making variations of it. And then obviously Justin has followers on multiple platforms. They don't bring him as many sales, but what I do think this does is it gives them a little bit of like an omnipresence. Right? They go on TikTok, they go on Instagram, they go on YouTube, and they see Justin's face everywhere. They can't get away from him. And as a result of that, they end up wanting to join his program because he gives them so much value all the time. Now, I wanted to condense the sales and fulfillment process here because I think it's very important that the way he gets them into the program and onboards them has a lot to do with like his retention and everything like that. Okay, so his DM conversation, similar to what we always teach inside of our program, Remote Training University. If you want to check it out, check out the link in the description. That's obviously, what Justin joined. But he'll qualify, hey, are you looking for a coach to help you throw harder? And then he's just asking where they are right now and what's holding them back. And then he'll send them a testimonial from a client at that specific velo range. And if they want to learn more, then he'll send his video sales letter. And if they're like, yeah, let's do it, he'll jump on a call with them and their parents. He says it's a 10-minute call. That's something that, I actually talked to him about. I was like, hey, bro, you probably should say that it's 30 minutes if it's a little bit longer. But, he just pitches a quick call on Zoom with the athlete and their parents, and then they'll jump on. Now, important to note, I said earlier in this video that Justin does an amazing job with his athletes, and that's why he's able to sign up so many people, because of the results that he's getting his athletes, okay? And I think this is a big reason why he's been able to push out so many testimonials on his Instagram, okay? Is because he gets people onboarded same day and then does their first mechanical breakdown immediately, right? And then he'll have their entire program built out and delivered to them on the app with the schedule and tracking literally by the next day, which is one of the biggest reasons why we'll get into here in a second. I believe he needs to hire a coach ASAP, okay? And then obviously for retention, he's doing daily mechanical analysis. He's doing weekly check-in calls, and he's building their programs out month in advance so they can see that he's actually got a progression for him. And then, he's tweaking it as the athlete needs the adjustment. It's not like he's just setting it and forgetting it. That is an absolutely terrible coach. Okay, so path to $100,000 a month. I think at this point, $2,400 for 6 months is underpriced for daily analysis. Like, I have clients in my program who do something similar that charge over $4,000 for the exact same offer. I think he could charge $3,500 to $4,000. He's going to stair step his way up, and that's what we talked about on his onboarding call. That was the first thing that we talked about, okay? The second thing that we talked about was hiring a team, okay? He is the bottleneck. I think first he needs to get a coach, and probably 2 coaches here pretty shortly, because he's got a lot of volume coming in, and then somebody to set appointments for him in the DMs, okay? On top of that, if you notice, when I went to the numbers were rough. The reason why is because he doesn't really have real tracking. So that's something that we're implementing with him inside of our scale program now, is real tracking, right? We're going to get him on like a real tracking system, so that way he has visibility to everything going on. Plus, implement a 12-month retention offer on the back end. And then I put question mark for paid ads, because I don't think he needs to run paid ads to hit $100,000 a month. He just needs consistency, which is do more of what's working. He already has the volume habit. It's about leverage, not output, okay? And I'll show you guys here. Here's the actual math for him to hit $100,000 a month. And I showed you guys the full model this time that I actually built out. I'm giving you guys a little bit of sauce. So I have $0 in ad spend here. And if we just look at, I even put 15 closed deals a month, which is less than what he's doing right now. And I assumed a little bit of an increase in price at $3,000, although he could charge $4,000 probably and have a similar conversion rate. But let's just say, for the purpose of this video, okay, he'll do $45,000 in front-end cash collected. Let's say 17.5% to a sales team. And then his program is 6 months, which means he'll have 90 front-end clients, 75% of them retain into a 12-month program, which means he'll do $55,000 of back-end revenue. He'll have about 222 clients, which means that he'll need at least 2 coaches. I would even say probably 3. And then you can see here even like what he's paying his coaches. I mean, this is pretty low for what I would pay a coach per athlete. I'd say closer to like 100, but let's just humor it and say 50. I mean, if he could get away with 50, I would probably err on the side of paying your team a little bit more, but that's just me. And you see right here, here's the breakdown of his expenses and then his revenue. So $100,000 a month with basically 80% profit margins. If we were a little bit more aggressive here with the team and the sales team and we added in ads, maybe he goes to 60% profit margins. He's still netting about $60,000 a month. Okay, with 0 ad spend. And it's because of his ability to drive so many deals on the front end organically. I mean, it's absolutely impressive. Justin is a beast. I literally told him this on the onboarding call earlier today, that he's going to be wildly successful, and I don't think he knows how successful I don't think he quite understands just yet how successful he's going to be. So hopefully you got a ton of value out of this video. Obviously, Justin joined into our Remote Training University program, scaled over $30,000 a month in the first 90 days, and then joined into our scale program where now this is kind of our roadmap for him to hit $100,000 in the next 12 months. So yeah, like I said, hopefully you got a ton of value. If you're a coach and you want to learn how you could do something like this, maybe you want to work with us directly, you could go ahead, check out the link in the description, watch the video on the next page, and if it resonates with you, apply and book a call. If you just want to keep watching these YouTube videos for free, that's totally cool too. I'm here for it either way. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.